Hello, everybody. I cannot see myself, but I hope I'm on air. Can we? Okay. There we go. Hello,
Hey.
everybody. Welcome. All right, least scuffed NA Overwatch game. Welcome back, everybody. It is me, Master Swood, as always, joined by my friend and co-caster Mist, and we are here to bring you some more UNCOW White here in the NACE Starleague. We're looking forward to hopefully a good game today.
I think it's going to be fun. I mean, we've got two teams with identical records.
Yep.
Both teams coming into this game 1-3. So a lot of playoff implications to this match. Sam, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so yeah, UNC has had a rough couple of weeks, just not really finding the wins. But this is kind of a big potential chance for them to turn the fortune of their season around, get a win here. If you win it next week, you're looking at a pretty good shot at getting into the playoffs. So
Absolutely.
anything could happen. Definitely not out of it yet. And yeah, looking forward to seeing them compete and hopefully bring home a win.
Yeah, and what I will say is that although there's been these three losses, a lot of them have been extremely close,
Yep.
like on a map level.
Yep.
A lot of like 3-2 Kings Rows. I believe there's been a couple of them.
Yeah, definitely some
A
close maps.
lot of close maps that really were could have gone either way. So this team has a lot of potential, is what I'm saying. And we're going to be going to Nepal for the first map. You want to talk about Nepal?
Oh, I
Swood?
love talking about
You
that.
like
The
Nepal.
Nepal map we don't really see as often. Typically, NA Overwatch, we either go to Lijiang first or I don't know, you just don't play the game. But Nepal, again, a map that's been in the game for a very long time, a control map with three very, I think, like unique points. I think they all play at
Yeah,
least somewhat differently.
I'd agree.
Definitely an opportunity for a bit more variety than you would see on some other control maps. Um, as a Lucio main, I'm always looking forward to Sanctum, seeing that big
I'm
pit,
sure.
that big juicy pit. But when UNC White was playing last year, this was kind of a prime spot for Coralligator to pull out the Junkrat. But of course,
Oh,
Coralligator now on UNC Blue with us. We just wrapped up our season, and so UNC White now is going to have to do a Coralligator-less attempt at trying here.
yeah, absolutely. And you talked about like the openness of this map in terms of like compositions that can get played, and I think this one might actually represent one of the most open. I've seen all sorts of things here. I've seen Doom here. I've seen Sig here. I've seen full like Reinhardt brawl here with Sim. You got options here.
Yeah, you
So
certainly do. You also get a lot of this kind of high ground on this sort of left side of our current POV, and those high grounds could be really strong for potential DPS. You could look at Johnson, who might be getting a mercy pocket in here in this fight, or Sean
be
to
interesting.
potentially get up there and do some serious damage.
yeah, so University of Kentucky is playing pretty interesting comp. I mean, three of them make a lot of sense. You know, the Ryan, the Bastion, and the Sim, just pretty standard brawl core. The Brig Moira,
Yeah, bit of a unique support line here, but
very
we'll see how it
survivable,
works
though.
out.
Very survivable.
Kentucky kind of
especially
taking
against
this left
Engage.
side of the point. Gonna get dealt a nice little rock here from Nightmares, who's starting here on the Sigma today. And the first pick actually goes the way of UK Teal here. The res is going to come through from Psychic, though. That's a big res, but then immediately Johnson's going to get followed up there with that kill. Still, now we're back to even. Sean trying to do his best to survive and doing his best to kind of peel off some of this damage coming onto his Sigma, but in the meantime, it's Bradley on the Baptiste that goes down. It's going to be first cap for Kentucky.
Yeah, I do wonder, now that UNC doesn't have point control, how are they going to handle pushing into this to this Bastion, to this Rhine, on this kind of more pokey composition? I think it's really going to be about angles. You don't have much for Kentucky to mark angles. You really are lacking ranged poke.
Oh,
well,
Johnson
maybe
gets
not actually.
burnt
You're not
down
lacking ranged
by the
poke.
ranged poke.
By
Who
the
would've thought?
caster curse.
Yeah, but Psychic is able to get the res back up, and UNC is not going to be too disturbed just yet. A lot of damage going out, and yeah, it's going to be Johnson helping collect that kill onto the Reinhardt, and now University of Kentucky has lost that big anchor they have. Make it 2 anchors down with that Bastion, and it's just going to be a matter of time here before UNC can collect these final kills onto University of Kentucky and hopefully find this flip. It's actually going to be a coalescence coming out here towards the very
Kentucky's trying
end.
to invest. They might be trying for some kind of fast retake here.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, though. I mean, the Reinhardt is back now, but you kind of just have to back away. You've lost too many players, and you invest a coal without getting too much in return. And now we're going to have a massive ult fight coming up here, as there's almost 5 on board for UNC White, and 2 right now, currently, for University of Kentucky.
What's interesting too, and what I think is really good for UNC is they weren't hasty in kind of investing ultimates when the Coalescence came out. They didn't panic as the
the Shatter. It collects a lot of players, but just the Baptiste window coming out from Psychic, excuse me, Bradley is going to be enough to melt. Still, Nightmares goes down. The Immortality field was not in time, and with the help of a rally and a wall, it's going to be really difficult for UNC to hold it all. Psychic has popped their Valkyrie, and they actually do find the red onto Micah. They're going to invest here. Micah, excuse me, Nightmares, I'm doxing here on stream. Going to use the Gravitic Flux, and JB's actually going to use his ult as well. There's 3 kills, make it! Another kill! JB and Nightmares popping off here. That is a massive fight win for UNC, and despite the fact that the point did flip in the middle of it, that's going to be a nice win there for UNC.
Yeah, I mean, if UNC uses pretty much everything, but hard to be dissatisfied with the outcome of that fight. Holding on to that point in a situation where it really doesn't feel like they had any business doing it, as UK switches on to the Ana off of the Brig. Makes sense. Not really anything for Brig to defend, just kind of getting it poked down from outside of her own range. On Ana, I think you can look for kind of more offensive plays, especially with a Moira, whose job is pretty much just to heal and a pick.
Oh, it's Bradley going down first here. It's going to be a headshot from that May. Psychic again finding this res off the first kill, but this time it's Nightmarish, and he won't have that res to get back onto the point this time. UNC gets up to 80%, but they're going to have to reset pretty quickly here. They're going to have to run for the hills.
It's a good job from Kentucky to push onto that res as it's coming out to actually punish it. If they just sat there, didn't take the space that they did, you know, Psychic probably gets that res off, and it's pretty much just an even fight again for UNC. But because they used that opportunity, that time to take so much position, they're able to just overwhelm Nightmarish on Sigma and just kind of wrap that fight up.
Yeah, UNC still does not have any ults. Got to be cautious of this Bastion ult that's now going to be coming in. Looking for Bradley. He just gets the lamp off in time, and it does not find any kills. Psychic's there to help peel as well. Still, we're ticking up to 90% on the point, and UNC is going to have to find something fast. Their first challenge is going to be just getting to the point in the first place. Johnson's is here. He gets slept on the left side, trying to survive. Good peel from Psychic, and Johnson's will get out with his life, but it's going to be a harder story for Bradley. Again, Psychic's there with the heals, and UNC is making it even in this fight. Johnson's has found a kill with his ult. Coalescence is going to be big. Johnson finds another kill. Psychic finds a res on the Nightmares yet again. And again, it's Johnson's delivering the final blows, looking to take down this Moira. He gets another one. Flip is going to come through, and we will be in final fight territory here. 99 to 85 currently.
There's going to be a nano if they can touch, but I don't really know if they can. And UNC has plenty of ults to defend. We see a Lucio swap from Kentucky. Can they get on and nano that run? They have it sim TP. They actually will.
They will, but Sean's going to be able to find that very quickly. He now has his ult, and it's actually going to be the Gravitic Flux. That's going to be a big one here from Nightmares, combined with Sean's Tactical Visor. That's going to be all she wrote. UNC takes Shrine here on the Paul. It's 1-0.
Incredibly impressive Sojourn performance from Johnson.
100%.
I think that was like... I think that second one was maybe a 4K.
Yeah.
And the original pop-off was, I believe, a Penta. That was a 5K, I want to say. Maybe?
I think Nightmares might have gotten one of them.
Maybe? Well, we'll check the VOD.
Yeah, check the VOD. Check the VOD.
Yeah, you guys can rewind. But if UK kind of stays on this look, I think we're looking at a really much more conventional brawl from them here with Lucio instead of, you know, trying to do this Brig Moira. But I think Nightmares is going to be in a pretty good spot on the Ramatra to survive that kind of rush engage. It's going to be Bat Moira this time. They love the Moira, it seems.
Yeah, definitely. I think the second time that UNC White here has run into a team that really enjoys playing the Moira.
Yeah.
I believe the other one was our first time casting them this season. It's going to be Johnson's just kind of holding this off angle, trying to get some poke damage, trying to charge up that railgun.
Yeah, and they've seen what Johnson can do now. Their souls have been reaped by the Sojourn, so they need to figure out how to mark
A lot of pressure
this.
coming out. These off angles are great from Sean and Johnson's, and
Yep.
they're able to find this first kill onto the Bastion. And UNC has that advantage of having a Mercy, whereas UK does not here. University of Kentucky lacking that ability to bring a player back from the dead. So they're just going to have to back off here as UNC gets first cap.
Yeah, those are some really pretty off angles, just like you said, Swood. You've got Sean shooting you on the one side, you've got Johnson shooting you on the other side, who's got pretty much a get-out-of-jail-free tool with Sojourn Slide. so hard to punish.
Speaking of getting out of jail free, he's attempting to do so right now. It does take a bit of damage, but it's going to get healed up by Bradley.
Yeah.
And now it's going to be Nightmares trying to apply some damage onto this Reinhardt still. He's going to have to survive this Bastion aggression, and it's not going to be enough. The lamp does not come in time, and now UNC, again, they're going to have to retreat. Another kill onto Bradley. The flip will come through momentarily.
Yeah, I mean, that's the scary thing for UNC playing with the Mercy is it's a little bit harder to disengage than if you had the Lucio. Of course, they don't have Lucio, so it's a little easier than if they did. It'd be almost impossible. But still, it's a little bit tricky to get away from Ryan sometimes with his pin.
Yeah, got to be looking at this window here coming out from the side of Kentucky.
Takes some damage there.
Yeah, it does take a big chunk of damage, but
you have to get picked first.
Yeah, you have to expect that this window is going to come out and be the first tool that UK wants to do to use this, win this fight. But it's actually going to be Shatter. But now it's going to be Johnson's again pulling out that Sojourn ult. He's trying to deal with this Bastion who's in turret form, who would now be retreating. Johnson is not afraid. He's running in. He's taking out the Immortality Field with the help of that pocket from Psychic, who also found the res onto Nightmarish here. Sean's going to try to find another kill, is able to get the Baptiste. Window invested late here, but nonetheless, UNC is going to be able to take care of this. They will get the recap. And Johnson dies at the very end, and res has already been used.
Yeah, that's an exit pick that could spell some trouble for UNC, potentially. I think Johnson will probably be back in a decent enough position where it won't really matter. But I think, yeah, I mean, UNC can take these kind of trade-heavy, even fights with a Mercy. If you trade tanks and you take enough space for res, I mean...
There's a Sojourn coming out from the side of Kentucky.
And
it's actually going to be comboed with that Baptiste window. They're looking to take as much space as possible. And they actually get Nightmares or the charge take down Johnson as well.
Yeah, you can't peek that at all.
This one's going to be back and forth and back and forth. And it's going to be Kentucky who's taking the point now, and they are just about to take the lead in percentage. Very back and forth, like I said. I'm going to be interested to see how Kentucky is able to deal with Nightmarish's Ramatra ult.
Yeah, I think the Moira Coalescence is
Sean? Oh my
option.
Goodness.
Sean finds a pick, almost dies for it. He's getting marked by the Rhine as well.
Yeah, but it's going to allow Nightmarish to just walk in for free, and he's headed to the point. He wants anything that's coming his way. Now he's going to take a big chunk of damage, down to 49 HP, trying to live, is unable to do so. Will UNC be able to capitalize off that first pick from Sean? Johnson's, again, finding another pick, and now Sean is on this off angle on the right side, trying to apply pressure onto this Reinhardt, as any member from UNC is just trying to get themselves set up on this point so that they can get the cap to go through. Contest is going to come out at the very last second, and it's going to be a Reinhardt on the point and a Reinhardt dead, as is often the case in Overwatch, too.
As
UNC finds the flip.
It's Ball. It is the hamster character for Nightmarish. Probably trying to just get back faster, rejoin the fight. Didn't know if the contest would still be going on from the University of Kentucky, but now how is he going to make this Ball work? I think it's going to be all about disruption. Really hard to kill anything through the just immense healing of a Moira backline.
Going to be the Bastion trying to find Psychic.
And
they do. And that's the most important pick you can find, because there is no way to res out the Psychic, but still, Johnson has his ult, and Johnson trades out. Now Sean, who used his Tac Visor, isn't really able to find much, but UNC's DPS are going to try to apply as much pressure as possible onto this Reinhardt on the point. Again, they're looking for this flip, taking this shield down as weak as they can get it. It's going to still be difficult, though. And they just haven't been able to find any kills until Sean is able to get that one. But now it's going to be the Shatter from the Reinhardt, trying to charge Nightmarish and take him out. He's going to be able to escape and try to get that Mega, but I'm not sure UNC is going to be able to get this touch. Psychic is back with the res, but it's not going to be able to come through. And this is just going to be cleanup now. UNC not able to retake, and it's going to be 1-1 here on the Paul.
Yeah, I think without ults, Kentucky's in a really tricky spot there, right? Because they control so little of the map in that case. They're stuck in this kind of bottom hallway that they really can't leave without getting poked from all the different areas of the map that UNC controls. The bridge, you know, the main choke. You've got a Sojourn and a Soldier just shooting you as Reinhardt. It's so hard to survive. But they get the Shatter, they get the Coalescence, and they use those kind of really nicely to establish some point presence and to generate a couple picks onto UNC's DPS. And at that point, it's pretty easy to live when their, you know, enemy team DPS are dead. Not too hard.
Yeah, so it's going to come down to Village here. And I have to say, I think this point is a bit more favorable to the University of Kentucky. They've been running that Reinhardt, and if you play it right, you can be pretty effective in just barreling down on this point, so to speak, using cover correctly.
What's going to make that harder is Sean has switched over to the Bastion.
That's true.
So it's going to be interesting to see how the Reinhardt for Kentucky is going to be able to deal with, Bastion turret form. Is he able to disengage it? Or is Sean able to find the punishes? That's really the question.
Yeah, for now, though, Kentucky's going to be able to set up pretty comfortably on this point, and Johnson's taking a lot of spam damage here with the help of Psychic to heal him up. Trying to find something, and especially Sean's on this bit of a strange angle, looking for something to kill. We'll just back up here now.
I mean,
and now UNC is looking like they're trying to show, and there's Johnson's finding this kill. And that's exactly what UNC needed. Now Sean trying to burn down this Reinhardt barrier, and look at this beautiful angle set up, but what a pin! Down goes Johnson. But in the meantime, Bradley's actually able to take out his counterpart, and now Nightmare's just trying to find this damage onto the sim before they can re-heal, but they are able to do so. UNC has found some kills, but they haven't been able to take as much space. Finally, looks like they are now going to be able to do so. And the flip will come through.
Yeah, and with the Mercy and with the
can they find these exit kills? They do.
Find one.
That's a big one from Sean.
With the Mercy and with the Sigma and with the Sojourn for Poke, I'd say Sean in the Bastion Mirror is kind of given the better situation to play in. Has the damage boost, instantly melts shield. And his counterpart Bastion is going to be getting poked out from off angles where he usually isn't. Unless, Sim gets a little zesty with it.
Support ults online here for University of Kentucky. Support ults. But there are 4 ults online for UNC, and actually you're going to start the fight with the help of Sean. Lamp's going to be dropped to help try to keep Johnson's up, and Sean trying to peel for his teammates with Bastion ult. It's actually going to work. A couple ults invested for UNC, but it's seeming like they're working out, and the window's not going to find much for University of Kentucky. They're going to have to try to get out with the help of that Sim teleporter, and that's very well done, being able to escape with their lives. But nonetheless, UNC invest 3 ults, win the fight.
Yeah, it's 3 ults to 1, so not exactly the most favorable trade for UNC. But, hey, you won the fight.
Shatter?
A creative Shatter that somehow hits
finds Psychic? And actually kills Psychic. So, it looked a bit odd, but it's actually going to work out here for Kentucky. Wow. And UNC is just going to have to try to stall out this point for as long as they can. And that will be up until about 73%? 72%.
Luckily, it's no ults used for UNC, so now that's a 3-0 ult fight on the side of University of Kentucky.
Johnson is able to dodge any poke, and now Psychic is back with him.
Yeah. If you're UNC, you probably want to go, wherever this Reinhardt is not, and take poke angles on him. You really, a direct push into the Reinhardt is going to be tricky. He's not holding the choke anymore, luckily for them. Ooh, almost a pick, I think.
Yeah, here's Johnson's kind of doing on this high ground, looking for
something
to find his damage into. Has found that Bastion in his sights, but not going to get too aggressive. Lamp is going to be forced here and come out, and now that allows Nightmares to use his ult, and it's going to help collect 2 kills. Sean's traded out for that Bastion, and going to have to also deal with those Sim turrets. The window's going to come out from Bradley in the meantime to try to keep Nightmares up and alive, and it looks like UNC is going to be able to cement themselves on the point. They will get the flip. Will Psychic be able to live this time? They will. Good dodging, and now Nightmares is able to collect a kill onto the Batiste, and we're up to 79% here for UNC. If they can find some more exit picks, this could be massive, and they do.
Staggered fight.
Yeah, this is getting very staggered. Now just trying to invest, trying to find Nightmares, but Psychic's beam is just stuck into his back, and it's not going anywhere. We're ticking up 90% here. It's going to have to be a desperation touch, if anything, from University of Kentucky, and I'm not sure they have any ults to help supplement that.
Yeah, it's like how
Johnson's actually going to pop his ult in case he can find anything. Oh, the touch does not come through. The soldier kill is found, and UNC, a great recontest on Village here. They are able to take the Paul 2-1.
Yeah, and a scrappy map, I'd say, overall.
And you have to, let's just pause for a moment to acknowledge the greatness that
we must hope that they stay
Johnson's here on
this
Shrine.
Believe we got a live look at this, but never hurts to see it again.
Oh, I mean, I want to see the replay. All right.
He killed that Reinhardt, FYI.
He did. He killed a lot of things on that map. That was a great showing from all the members of UNC, but definitely their DPS, I think, were utilizing their comp very well, kind of playing at different angles throughout the map.
Yeah, I think it was telling that you rarely saw Sean and Johnson on this exact same angle. I think that was really critical because maybe one can play main, but then the other, taking an off angle can really force out, like, some forced difficulties for the Reinhardt comp that really just wants to play, stacked on each other, and has a hard time checking those flanks, in a one-tank game without a diva. That's what we used to use divas for in the Reinhardt comps, but now we don't have that.
Yeah. Knowing that University of Kentucky picked Nepal, are you surprised it came out in the Reinhardt? I remember when I was a freshman here, our main tank player, who was a Ryan main, a Ryan lover, he hated playing Ryan on Nepal. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think Ryan is pretty playable on Nepal.
I agree.
I think, especially on that last point, I think that one you might want back if you're University of Kentucky, because I do think the Ryan comp is favored over the Sig comp on that particular map.
Yep.
I think Sanctum is pretty tricky, though, to run Ryan, especially without a Lucio. It's so open. With a Lucio speed boost, you can take enough space to play it, to play Brawl, but without one, you just get poked for so long. It's just so hard. The sightlines are long, and I think UNC really just utilized that well. They went with the comp, and you could see them trying to play to its strengths.
Some unique variations coming out too from that backline of University of Kentucky. The Moira with a whole host of different heroes, settling on the Batiste mostly
Moira
this last
and her
couple maps.
cast of characters.
We are going to be shockingly, and I know you will all be so surprised if you've watched just one Overwatch game in your life. We will be going to Kings Row, everybody's favorite. And again, that's also not a surprise considering that University of Kentucky was looking to play the Reinhardt on Nepal. If there's a Reinhardt map in this game, I would say it's probably Kings Row.
At least historically.
Yes,
but I think definitely, in the first 5 or 6 years of Overwatch. But
yes.
I think in recent times it's shifted. It still has that classic Reinhardt, reputation, but I think it's shifted a little bit away where teams are starting to, experiment more on that map.
You see some Orisa, some
even Sigma.
Queen, Sigma.
Winston when he's strong.
Which he's not right now.
He's not in the best spot right now. But when there's a strong Winston meta, it's one of his better maps now, actually, because there's a bunch of high ground. But yeah, that classic reputation is this is the Brawl map. This is the Reinhardt map. So if you're a team that wants to play Reinhardt, I mean, you can't really go wrong here.
No, you really
even
can't.
Though there's more options now.
Yes.
At least in NA, there was always options over.
Yeah. All right, so we are here on Kings Row. We're going to go for the afternoon Kings Row. It's a classic look. It's not as good as the original, but it's all right.
Of course not.
But it's a nice little look here. This first point, I think there's a lot of different strategies that you can see at play. If you have it all watched Blue this season play, we were big advocates of the immediate hotel push, try to isolate a member of the back line.
Can't give away our strats,
well,
Sam, even though the season's over.
Yeah. I know, really theory crafting here on Kings Row. No one's ever done that before. So.
Now this I can say is pretty. That's heavy Brawl.
Yeah, that is
extremely heavy rush.
Yeah. Whereas we were seeing the Batiste, we were seeing some kind of different DPS coming out from Kentucky. If they come out on this is about as classic, as heavy, as strong a punch on Brawl as you can possibly pack, I would say.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see if UNC can actually kite this, because this is a comp that loves to get in your face. You got short-range DPS. You have Moira healing everyone who's stacking up on each other. We're going to have Sean starting on the high ground here. I think a good strategy. Maybe get a pick out of spawn. Although he does jump down to take some statue shots.
Yeah, he leaves the violet position instead of taking a more aggressive position. And they're trying to isolate Johnson, and they did. Yeah, UNC was not at all ready for that engagement. No. But this Reinhardt falling very low, but they're not going to be able to find the kill. And so the UNC's chance to try to stabilize will be lost. A good wall, but it cannot just quite get Nightmarish. UNC might be able to get a recontest here, but they might just opt to play here in this long sightline of the second point.
Yeah, and normally I'd say, Zen is a pretty strong answer here for, just making the Reinhardt's life miserable, but Zen's Discord Orb actually just got reworked as we see a fast fight here.
That's going to be a big window, actually, lamp coming out from Bradley to help keep Nightmarish up. And UNC's actually going to be able to survive that and punish. Nice job from UNC surviving the aggression. Again, mostly off of that lamp from Bradley on the Batiste.
Yeah, and we've got the reworked Discord Orb on Zen starting this patch. It's a little stronger. You can apply it further away, but you cannot reapply it if it's taken off a target for 7 seconds, which is a pretty long time in Overwatch.
Yeah.
In Overwatch time. 7 seconds is a while.
Definitely going to be a lot of Zen players having to retrain that muscle memory. Again, UNC's going to be able to survive this speed coming out, this aggressive rush.
This has been...
As we see Nightmares trying to poke down this Lucio, but it's been pretty good. The window was a bit optimistic. I think they weren't quite ready for how or when University of Kentucky would engage, but nonetheless, it's going to be a fight.
Yeah, it's a little imperfect, but I think UNC in the last 2 fights has done a really good job of absorbing aggression.
Oh, the Shatter comes out, tracking that shield cooldown. But again, they're able to melt. They're able to melt that Reinhardt. Sean is going to fall in the meantime, but Psyche's going to pop Transit to make sure that Nightmares can stay pretty well topped up. It's going to be a punish onto the Mei. Freeze will get a couple, actually a few on UNC, but is anyone there to find the damage? There's the answer. It's yes, as Bradley falls quickly.
UNC should pull back from this.
Yeah, they're probably going to have to.
You know, University of Kentucky is going to come in quick with that Ryan Lucio, and the sustain just isn't there now.
Yeah, so UNC is going to be able to give.
They're going to have to give with that pick onto Bradley, but they have ults for a restabilize. Johnson's been on that Echo, which we've also been remiss to mention.
Yes, he has been supplying that damage, getting some good focusing beams in, and now we're going to see Nightmarish use his ult, trying to find a kill, and it's comboed beautifully with Sean's Dragon. They find the Lucio, and did he Ajax there?
I believe he did.
Oh, wow. So the Lucio uses and loses his beat mid-ult, unable to survive that Dragon and Sigma ult combination. Now, UNC did use 3 ults there.
Yeah, I think...
But I believe it was answered by 2 on Kentucky.
Yeah, it's both support ults from Kentucky. Shatter was more the previous fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for UNC it's okay. You just need to stabilize and really build towards that window. That's
yeah,
gonna be really
falling weak is that
and
Reaper.
That will help you do it.
And down he goes. And now UNC, they're going to be able to be the ones aggressing. Johnson does not know what the brakes are. He's going full gas.
It's not that long.
Yeah. Trying to find his last couple kills.
That would be really unfun to play against, might I say, if Echo Beam was the length of the map there.
Yeah.
As long as, you know, Johnson wanted it to be. But UNC, what they've done now with that pick from Johnson is they bought themselves time.
John's going to be checking this Reaper here. Forces the Wraith down to 69 HP, and it'll have to be a bit of a nice disengage here from the Reaper.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, UNC just continuing what's been working. They're absorbing this pressure. They've adjusted really nicely to this more heavy rush. Although, interestingly, Kentucky is off the Lucio.
Yeah, they are. And Sean has another Dragon, so it must be a bit more of a comfort pick, I would assume. This Baptiste coming out. The Dragon's going to help try to split this Reinhardt. Again, using these angles perfectly are UNC.
If you're Reinhardt, I mean, how do you push into this? I mean, it's just so difficult. You have, you know, Hanzo burning your shield up front. You have a Sigma who's impossible for you to kill, who you can't move. You're getting Discord orbed, although not as frequently as you once were, but you're still getting Discord orbed. You have Baptiste shooting your shield, and you have Echo in the sky who's burning you from above. It's just, you're getting poked out from so many angles. Shield's gone already, and he's dead.
Yeah, there is a kill coming out on the Psychic, but the window from Bradley is going to help UNC just collect everybody else, as we see the menu from our prod team here.
It's just a struggle. It's just a struggle for Kentucky to close space right now. This is where you really do miss having a Lucio.
And again, you've seen Sean consistently set up on this top right angle, and you've seen Johnson's kind of setting up on this left angle on this most recent fight. And now it's going to force some alternative pathing coming out from University of Kentucky as they know they need to try to dislocate Sean. It's actually going to be an aggressive charge to try to get him off of this high ground. But in the meantime, it allows UNC to continue to find some poke damage. You know, it's good that you're able to establish this high ground, but it also means it's a very difficult. That is aggressive from Johnson. Somehow he lives initially, but yeah, it's not going to be enough to try to get through. The window's going to be invested here. Abundance Baptiste on University of Kentucky.
It's a lot of ults.
As well as like it's going to be comboed up with this Cassidy ult, trying to find the kills, and down goes Nightmares. Shatter, it's going to be a lot of ults being used out, but still, it's 1-to-1 with both tanks being traded out. Psychic's going to pop this ult before anyone on their team can die, and so UNC has the advantage. Now it's going to be Sean looking for kills with that Dragon, is able to find some damage, and they're going to corral University of Kentucky backwards as Johnson also finds a kill again. UNC, despite getting first pick, despite all the ults invested there from the University of Kentucky, they're able to win this fight again.
And finally, it's off the Reinhardt for Kentucky, onto the Zarya,
yep.
who... might be a little bit more survivable than the Rhine, but I think it's still going to struggle.
I want to point out, I think this
falls very low already. I don't know.
I
if
think
you
this
can see
reap roll has been online the entire time for University of Kentucky. Maybe they want to combo the reap roll with the bubbles, look for some sort of flank angle. UNC's going to have to pay attention to that. And it's actually going to be Micah eating it up and Sean killing. Now Micah will go aggressive. I keep doxing this man. It's Nightmares with a massive flux. The window, the lamp is going to come out. But UNC is going to be able to hold W. Wow. And they're able to hold also on Streets Phase Kings Row. After giving up a fairly quick cap of point A, UNC adjusts and they win fight after fight. Yeah, that was very impressive.
I think UNC got a little taken aback by the Lucio on first point because that rush came out a lot faster than I think they were ready for after playing against Baptiste and Moira together for the entirety of Nepal. They weren't used to playing against a speed amped Rhine going into their team, so they caught a little off balance. Thought they had more time than they did.
Yep.
But I think in the next couple fights we saw the adjustment. And UNC playing to their style, which is really the kind of cornerstone of poke. It's counter aggro. It's making the fight just drag out as long as possible, because the longer the fight drags out, the more it will favor the poke comp getting those picks. If there's a minute-long fight versus a 10-second fight, it's a lot more likely that, say, Sean finds a headshot on Hanzo in 1 minute than in 10 seconds.
Yep. Whereas if it's a 10-second fight, it's a lot less likely that your Reinhardt has taken enough poke to die.
Exactly. I mean, Reinhardt's resources, while they recharge, they're finite for in a lot of purposes. So the longer the fight goes, Rein's resources are getting exhausted. The lamp has to come out for echo stickies. Can Johnson find the pick?
Yeah, gonna be doing the classic thing here. We're looking for
Looks like they're ready.
A Widow pick here to start. Not going to be successful right just yet. It's a bit of an interesting comp coming out from UNC. You see Bradley on the Lucio, but Nightmarish, who I've now doxed 2 maps in a row, is sticking to that Sigma.
Can we get a tracker?
I call him by his real name in real life. I apologize. Nonetheless, it's going to be a win. I keep saying window. It's a lamp, rather, coming out to try to protect that Reinhardt. And now UNC is trying to establish this aggressive position on this right side from their POV of the statue.
Here go the
Reinhardt shield's falling low, and now it's going to be Johnson and Sean's playground here if they're able to find anything. Still an aggressive position being taken. This shield's going to get melted yet again. Is UNC going to be able to get aggressive? Not just yet, and they actually are able to do so. They counter the aggression from the Bastion turret form, and now it's just all up to UNC finding these kills. Sean's going to hold W and just take down that Reinhardt fairly easily. And now it's going to be Nightmares here with the help of Bradley, who's just going in, finding these kills. Nice job here from UNC. They're able to just take a lot of space on this aggressive brawl comp, or against this aggressive brawl comp, I should say, and melt that shield repeatedly.
Yeah, I mean, I think, UNC plays patient. They don't try to, rush down a Reinhardt with a Sigma, because that's just going to be really hard. Like we said, longer fight, exhaust the resources, then go. UNC was able to poke down the Reinhardt shield, and then I want to say they sped Sean in turret form into the Reinhardt, who has no shield, no way to defend himself.
Nightmare's is going to use both of his big cooldowns out here pretty early. You're going to have to use that shield to try to get out and kite this window, which they actually do success.
Almost.
I spoke too soon.
Just had to say something.
Had to. That's on. Hey, that's on me. That's on me.
Yeah.
I think they know that whoever that is back there for UNC. I couldn't even tell. Or they don't. I'm not sure what happened there. Nonetheless, now Kentucky's actually in a pretty good position for themselves. They're able to hold this choke, which is a lot. It's a good position to have when you are on this Reinhardt.
Another thing we haven't. Oh, as we see, the window.
Shadow window's going to come out.
Is that
I'm not sure that Shadow found anything. It might have been blocked by Nightmare here. That's pretty good. And now it's going to be UNC's turn to get aggressive. The Coalescence is not going to be anything for Kentucky. Actually, wow, the jinxes are coming out for me tonight.
This is incredible. This is what we need a counter of.
Yeah, all right. You know what? This is on me,
Next
guys.
match, production. You know what to do.
Yeah,
Master counter.
yeah. Still.
I have approving looks from
our fraud team back here. But Johnson's actually going to be able to get this really good aggressive position, and it's actually going to have to be a pretty quick fight taken if you're University of Kentucky, and Johnson's just looking for anything with the help of the ult coming out from Nightmares. They do take out the Reinhardt, and that is just simple.
Wow.
UNC
That was-
executes Kings Row as if it was their map pick. They knew what they wanted to do, and they executed there. It's 2-0 UNC.
In fairness, it probably would have been. I mean, this is
That's true.
This is a North American team below
That
like
is true.
4.5. It's about all that happens. But
Let's watch this Sean play the game, too. This is
Sean played this time.
playing this little off angle here. He continuously set himself up for success by just being on this angle fairly uncontested. You saw
Such a thorn in their side.
Yeah, you saw the Reaper try to get up there a couple times. You saw
Yeah.
the whole team kind of rotate once, make an aggressive charge on Deshaun, but in the end, it just couldn't. They couldn't deal with it. They couldn't deal with UNC's
UNC
poke.
really used the map geometry, I think,
Mhm.
on those angles, because again, you have a very two-dimensional tank in Reinhardt playing on that King's Row. He's going to struggle to respond to that, and as such, the whole team is going to have struggles to respond to that. If they send multiple people, Sean can disengage it. He sees it coming. If they only send one, he can either, run or take the
duel.
Take the duel. Probably win the duel. I mean, we love Sean. He's got the aim.
Yep. Hanzo's a fun character too. I've
Yeah,
never once complained
Hanzo's a
about
very
Hanzo.
fun character that you're winning the duel and then you're very suddenly in spawn.
Yep.
So it's like, how do you respond? And then all the while, you're trying to get in. You're trying to actually push space because you're getting poked out from main as well. You want to close the distance on this Zenyatta, on this BAP, on the Sojourn, and then onto the Echo as well. But you have to deal with the Hanzo first, and then maybe you force him out. Now you have an Echo behind you, like beaming down your support. It's just so frustrating to play against a comp like that. Really, the only way to beat it in that rush is closing that space, and without. That's why Lucio has played so much
and even Sim at points.
Sim as well, yeah. Just for teleport mobility. If you play Sim, you could all teleport onto Sean maybe to force him out as a team. We saw attempts come out from Kentucky to do something like that. They wrapped up top. Pretty smart play. That was one of their better pushes, I think, to go all the way up through. I don't know what that building is. Through the building on the choke of.
I don't know what to call it. Boiler room? Isn't it boiler? Boiler
It
room's
ends
the
up
one
as
room.
boiler room.
I don't know what the whole hallway is called.
Yeah, the big hallway that wraps around second point.
You know
Kings
what
Row.
we're talking about. You might not.
You've
but
played Kings Row.
I will say, I'm kind of reminded about goats in a way, and let me get to that.
Oh,
like,
boy.
let me find my way there. What I'm trying to say is, you could kind of tell that the Reinhardt on University of Kentucky, he's not a bad player. You could see it on Nepal. He was making a lot of really good plays, finding some great charges. But the issue was you watch Kings Row and you see that the Reinhardt was getting picked pretty much every fight.
Yeah.
And so in GOATs, there was this kind of misconception a lot of time that certain players who were main tanks were not very good players because they would die first. But what really was the case is that a lot of your resources would be focused on taking down that Reinhardt. And in the bad GOATs comp, the Reinhardt would often die first.
Yeah.
And so I think you're kind of seeing that sort of, for lack of a better term, that sort of funneling onto the Reinhardt taking place because of this poke versus rush matchup that UNC is seemingly fairly comfortable in.
Yeah, and it seems like they found a way maybe to exploit the comfort picks that are on Kentucky with their own comfort picks.
Yeah.
I mean, Sean, we know, loves playing that Hanzo. We know Bradley can play that BAP. UNC is on picks that they're comfortable with.
Yeah, and dare I say, Psychic Zen has been one of the best
Psychic
individual
Zen,
heroes.
I'd be remiss not to mention.
Yep.
So using their own comfort picks to kind of exploit the weaknesses of the University of Kentucky's, who seem to lean more into, that Reinhardt brawl.
Yeah. That classic NA Reinhardt brawl.
Yeah. Love to see it.
Well, we will be departing NA, or perhaps departing Europe. We will be going to the Aussie lands to watch some New Junk City as our next map. Of course, Flashpoint, still kind of new. Still, at least the newest thing we have, so to speak.
Yeah.
How are you expecting UNC to get on this map? Because it Flashpoint plays pretty differently than Hybrid.
It does. I really do think that the speed may be the key for University of Kentucky. I think if they come out on that Lucio like they did on First Point Kings Row, I mean, sure there was a bit of surprise factor to it for UNC, not used to playing against it tonight from the first map, but still I think it's got to be their best chance. Probably the Lucio Moira, if we're going off the comfort pick of, seems like they love playing around that Moira. Lucio Moira Rhine is like a great, rush core still. So if you have that, I think you're okay. If not, though, I actually do like UNC's chances if they run something similar. You can still kite pretty effectively on New Junk City. You can abuse high grounds. A lot of points will have like a little section kind of over top of them. I'm thinking of like Junkyard, where there's this high ground. Really tough to push into.
Yeah, kind of high grounds on both sides there. There's a very high one on a bit further away from the point than one right next to the point.
I will say, I want to say that the first point of New Junk City is not one of those points. It's a point that's a little more 2D without like a big high ground overlooking it. It's that greenish room, right? I don't remember the name.
No, it's the arena.
Oh, it's the arena?
Yeah.
Oh.
Which is quite the opposite. It's actually a bit of a pit, the first point of New Junk City.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
Yeah, so actually, but it's interesting, though, because a lot of the time, if not nearly all the time, the fighting doesn't actually take place in the pit. You really only drop to the pit if you're trying to put pressure on point to capture once it's unlocked, or you've already won the fight.
It'll be interesting because I think Kentucky's, brawl style may be favored in those kind of upper corridors where things are much more close quarters, especially if they have the Lucio to work with. It'll be interesting for me to see if UNC has the discipline to survive that push and then be able to poke at them from the high ground if they go point.
Yeah.
If they commit too many point, UNC's going to poke it really hard. If they lean into what they've already been doing.
The sound of rock guitars has entered my ears, which can only mean one thing. We will be heading into New Junk City momentarily. We'll throw that to you guys in just a moment. For now, you get to look at our pretty faces for just a couple more seconds.
We'll always throw.
We
will always.
Well, hey, if I'm good at one thing, it's throwing. What were we talking about?
Yeah, no. I think that point kind of stands on its own.
All right. Still not in just quite yet. All right. I'm being told that our stream froze? Question mark. Like, are we live? Yes. Okay, so we're live, but Overwatch froze. Oh, okay. Cool. Okay. Overwatch froze on OBS.
Some mild technical difficulty, it says.
Yeah, our prod team is working as hard as they can to try to fix this for you guys. Did they pause? Or did we... No, I turned it off. Oh, okay. Cool. Okay. Sounds like UNC is running some more Brawly comps this time around, and Kentucky's running a Brawly comp. Excuse me.
Well, they're playing Diva actually, is what I'm seeing from my vantage point of the monitor. I can't see a kill feed.
Should we throw it a break?
And it looks like.
Well, I mean, we can't see.
I can see. It looks like University of Kentucky has, in fact, gotten this first control. So it looks like they probably were able to use that aggression.
Oh, did we get it? Oh, did we get it? Okay,
this is promising.
We have it. Cool.
It looks like we have it. We don't have audio.
Do we have audio
at this point?
We do have audio. All right.
Okay, great. Okay, so we're back.
Nothing like NA Overwatch. UNC is gonna find the first kill here. It's Psychic taking out this Genji that University of Kentucky has now pulled out. We're seeing Bradley here on this Lucio, so UNC opting again for their own kind of speed, their own sort of aggressive comp. Let's just run through it real quick. So you got Psychic on the Moira, matching the Moira that we've seen coming out from Kentucky.
Wow.
You also see Johnson on the Mei here, which we've known him to play, but haven't seen it yet tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if you talk to Johnson about Mei, he will be very quick to tell you that his Mei is among the very best.
Yeah, I mean, there's Rascal, and there's Nico, and there's
Johnson. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's a top 3 Moira in the world. Yeah. By some sources, I'm sure.
And getting very pressured here. Gonna have to be up to Nightmares to try to save his Mei player. And he's actually gonna be able to get a lot of damage out. Bradley also trying to take an aggressive position here. Gonna be curious to see how these ults come out for both
we have
sides.
A beautiful Ramatra bug. Love that bug that's in the game. It's an ult advantage for University of Kentucky.
There's a big beat. And UNC does not use their beat in time to save Nightmares. Actually haven't used it at all. Psychic is gonna use their ult.
It's definitely not. Shouldn't get.
Trying to get this right.
They do.
And they do. Bradley's actually able to finish the kill. Will Bradley use his beat here? Hasn't done
I
so
think you
yet.
want it.
Yeah, but
maybe not.
UNC finds the first pick after those tanks fall. Sean's going to be able to do it with the Helix Rocket. Sean's finding another kill. Who needs a beat when you can just win with Sean killing 3? I mean, you know, Bradley, that was calculated. Calculated.
Yeah, it was calculated. I'm a bit at a loss at how Kentucky allowed their Reinhardt to die. That was a one fight for them. You know, they beat it aggressively, pushed in, got the pick onto Nightmarish. That fight should have been over. Maybe they kind of rested on their laurels a little bit because just forgot to heal.
So we're going on the
Reinhardt.
Ducks. A Shatter's going to come out, but I'm not sure they'll be able to survive the freeze, and it's actually going to be that Ryan going down first. Bradley also popped his ult, trying to help survive through that Shatter. Got to be cautious about this Reaper ult rather here.
We see Orisa now for the University of Kentucky leaning harder into that brawl. Orisa doesn't do much else other than fight all up in your face.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's really just going to be on, you know, as we've said, on someone like Sean or on Nightmarish to use speed to, you know, kite the Orisa engages.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be curious to see how Nightmarish uses his ult here. And this Orisa's flying very low and actually dies. It's going to be Sean finding the first kill, but it's going to be traded out for Bradley. Still, advantage goes to UNC here because the tank is down, and now Johnson's going to find a headshot to assure that. And now they're going to try to collapse on this Reaper, on this kind of backline.
Oh,
nice kill. Sean combines the Helix Rocket with the headshot onto this Moira. And will they be able to take out this Reaper? They will. Nice job from Nightmarish tracking it down. And so now with that kind of late kill, with the time that University of Kentucky could fight again, it's going to be up to like 80, 85%, maybe even 90. It's going to be last fight territory for sure.
Yeah, this is 100% last fight territory for Kentucky, assuming they can touch it all, which I think they can. I think they can get there.
Yeah, they should be able to with this Lucio.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too much of a problem to get any touch, but
nice job kiting
the problem is can they push through UNC since as they've elected to do?
Oh,
not likely now.
Johnson's finds another headshot kill. The headshot's coming out from both DPS here for UNC. I'm going to be curious to see if Nightmarish can use this ult effectively. He's going to pop it right about now. And it's actually going to be the Sojourn who just popped ult falling. Beat comes in, but it's not going to be in time. And the Lucio will fall soon after. Nightmarish is just pummeling and pummeling and pummeling. And finally, this Orisa falls. That's a lot of HP to take down. But when your healers are dead, when your DPS are dead, it's just a matter of time. UNC up 2-0 here on Flashpoint. And it looks like next point is Ducks. Excuse me, Refinery. That was Ducks.
One more to seal it. And UNC comes in with the May ult. 0 ults for Kentucky. UNC should win this fight.
Yep.
With their May ult, if they can, but they need to play around some cooldowns. They need to play around. Oh, we have a caster curse counter.
Oh, we have a caster curse counter. All right.
Magnificent.
I'm sure
that should be on every match.
What
now.
could go wrong? Okay, well it's up to Johnson to try to win this fight here for UNC. Gonna have to be cautious of this Kiriko Suzu, of Fade, of Orisa.
Yeah, of Orisa Fortify as well.
But UNC's actually going to be able to get this first cap as University of Kentucky was looking for a bit of an alternative position. They're going to find it here with the Bastion on an off angle, but UNC is able to kind of hide. And it's actually going to be Sean finding the first kill yet again with the Helix Rockets. Now it's going to be the Orisa coming through, but it's not going to be enough just yet. Fortify will come through as well. And Suzu just trying to keep this Orisa alive. But Johnson is just trying to find the damage into her. Nobody is falling, and now it's going to be Bradley finding a kill of all people. And now this Orisa down to 8 HP, down to 0 HP. UNC, again, we're basically in last fight territory now. Johnson saved that ultimate. If you look at the ults, there's 4 for UNC, and there's 0 for University of Kentucky.
If you're UNC, I think this is pretty simple. I think you run in and you use everything. You will seal the point at this stage by just using everything. I think, honestly, we might have, like, panic swaps coming out from Kentucky.
Yeah, we have a Reinhardt swap.
We have a Reinhardt swap.
A kind of panic comfort pick as they try
Another thing we haven't touched on as well is the Bastion nerf to his range. We saw, like, a Bastion poking at range there. Does not do very much damage anymore.
Yeah, but speaking of poking at range, we have Sean on his off angle. He's going to pop his ult. He's going to force Suzu out very quickly. Gets hit by the funny ability that the Cassidy has, but in the meantime, it's Nightmarish finding a pick onto his counter tank. The ults are just all going to be popped by UNC. And Johnson's going to wave him goodbye. It is 3-0 on Flashpoint. It is 3-0 on the night. UNC taking it to University of Kentucky Teal. And they will win this one and cement themselves at 2-3.
Yeah, that's a win that I think, for those of us who, you know, are involved with this team, we're really happy to see this.
Yeah. I thought they played extremely well tonight.
Yeah, this team has worked very hard, and I think you saw a lot of the fruits of that labor tonight. You saw just a completely different, almost, team than like the last time, even the last time we watched, but especially like the beginning of the season.
Yep.
This team, you know, played to their strengths.
Sure.
They picked a comp, they stuck with it, and they knew their win conditions, and they capitalized on them. So, yeah, we can talk about more about the implications of this match. Playoff hunt very much alive now.
Playoff hunt very much alive with a big 3-0. Map differential, of course, always important, right?
It is a tiebreaker.
So
actually,
yeah, no, it is. That's what I'm saying. So
it could actually be very important.
It's genuinely very
that it was
important. A
3-0
is a very clutch here coming out from UNC. And to your point, I think we really saw both them playing their comp to perfection almost to a very high level. You also saw a bit more of flexibility coming out from UNC. I think able to kind of make some important swaps. Of course, I think the most important one was Johnson going over to the Echo on Kings Row, and just no answer really being able to come out from University of Kentucky. They kind of just relied on that Reinhardt comp, relied on that Moira until the match ended, and the result was what it was.
Yeah, when you have that kind of set identity as a team, you kind of live and die by the comp's strengths and weaknesses. And it's unfortunate for Kentucky. I'm sure they're like a very strong team, like in that rush mirror. But UNC really didn't play their game.
Yeah, they didn't
at
want
any
to.
point. Which, why would you? If you have the flexibility to play in a way that makes the brawl uncomfortable,
sure,
you by all means do it. So I think UNC did a fantastic job at not kind of falling into that trap of picking non-rush characters and like playing like pseudo-rush. Like it can be very easy to kind of start playing Reinhardt Sigma, where you just are frontlining and you try to like take space aggressively like Reinhardt. But that's not really the optimal way to play Sigma, especially in that comp.
Yeah. So great job exploiting that by UNC. Great job tonight with their big 3-0. So UNCOW White coming out with the victory over University of Kentucky, cementing themselves at 2-3, and probably their best game on the season, I would say.
I would say easily.
So that's going to be it for us tonight. There will hopefully be some more Overwatch coming from UNC White at the end of this week. I will say quick shout out to UNC Blue, who we just wrapped up our season. Had our first ever kind of playoff match in our time in NACE. So very successful season. Coming out from us. And also shout out, we should be watching some excellent Overwatch this weekend at the World Cup.
Yeah, the World Cup, there will be a new tank announced this weekend.
Yep.
We're not being paid by Blizzard. We're just...
No, yeah, we just like the game.
Usually.
Yeah, and one more thing, shout out to Game Fest. Those of you who are in the Overwatch community will know that we're having a bit of a mini tournament on Saturday. I don't know if that's going to get streamed yet. I hope it will be, but I'll talk with my prod after this. But the point being, it's going to be a big Game Fest event for all the different events that we have.
Thumbs up.
I'm getting a thumbs up. We are getting streamed. Let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, a big Game Fest event for all the games here in the UNC Esports community this weekend. Everybody will be hosting a lot of fun, different variations of games. It should be fun. There's going to be a Valorant match before the before the Overwatch match, and that's going to be between Varsity and JV for Valorant. So that'll hopefully be fun. If you're a Valorant fan, check into that. So yeah, a lot of good stuff coming up over the next week. We're really excited, and it's a good way to start it with this nice win from UNCOW White. That's going to be all from us tonight. So as always, I am Master Swood for my production team and my friend Mist here. Thanks for watching, and GDTBATH.
spawn, and I